next up is the eye, Leo.
So the eye has Putin's plane flies Russian diplomats home from America. So a Russian government plane, one of the few that hasn't been shot down by Wagner, is flown to Washington, D.C. to ferry these key diplomats back to Moscow amid rising tensions with the West. I mean, can the tensions get any higher? How high can tensions go? But it forms part of Vladimir Putin's special flight squadron, his presidential fleet that were used a few days ago to evacuate all, Putin and all his government from...
It was his 9/11, wasn't it? He was like kind of jumped on the plane to get out of there.
Yeah. He did the opposite of what Zelensky did. Zelensky, he was expected to fall and Zelensky would be executed, and Zelensky stayed. So Putin, showed his weakness by fleeing. But this means that, these diplomats that are going to Russia, they'll take intelligence with them, apparently. I don't know. I mean, it says that here. I don't know if people have got WhatsApp. They can probably send it over that.
Well, it's true. I mean, you do wonder how necessary these, channels are in an era where we can all send encrypted messages to one another. Putin's... I mean, this isn't directly related to this story, but I do find it sort of got, alluded to there. Putin had projected himself to be such an extraordinarily strong man, like a literal physical strong man for so many years. Those famous photographs of him riding around bare-chested on horseback and angling in the great Russian wilderness and what have you, He looks kind of physically weak and exhausted now, doesn't he? He looks weird. And I wouldn't necessarily raise that in the case of every foreign leader, even one that had started a war. But I feel like that is a serious issue for him.
I think in Russia, they want a strong guy, don't they?
Exactly.
No, absolutely. I think when we look at it through our eyes, and if you compare him to Rishi Sunak, we've just got different priorities, haven't we? We're not looking for...
But when you see, is it Prigozhin? I can remember the name. When you see him, he's not an attractive figure, but you do see in that the kind of Khrushchev kind of...
Radiates menace. He's got the whole thing is like...
Imagine he'd have a collar on.
It's like the Sopranos on steroids. It's amazing. But so Prigozhin and Wagner, those troops, they're going to Belarus and apparently have been building the camps. It's actually going to happen. But then you've got to wonder: is Wagner going to take over Belarus? Do a coup on Minsk? Is Lukashenko, the president of Belarus, going to instead take over Moscow?
Is that going to be a new? I mean, some people are saying Lukashenko and Wagner could become a new kind of fighting unit
because they're actual real troops that have been in battle for a long time, so they're hardened troops, so they could just fold any National Guard in half.
It's very interesting, as most people seem to have switched now from a kind of traditional statesman-politician model to an organised crime model. The only way to understand Russia is not to look at any other kind of politics, it's to read up about Lucky Luciano and,
I think 80% of Prigozhin's guys have come straight out of prison. He's rescued them from, like, a 20-year prison sentence. They're quite loyal and quite scary guys, I think.
And there's a lot of special forces and Russian military that have, got a lot of experience, and then they're going to Wagner to earn a lot more money.
Yeah. Well, we can't complain. Britain had its mercenary years as well.